Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Am I?
Good morning.
No. Okay. Hey, Mike. How are you?
Hello, Reverend. How you doing this morning?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
So, who's that up there in the picture behind you?
Oh, that's me.
That's you. All
Yeah.
right. Well, you were at Vietnam.
Yes.
Okay.
That
What?
that picture is when I was a drill instructor at Paris Island.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. So, happy Veterans Day. It's a bit late, but thank you very much for serving. And Lily is also a veteran. So same thing to you, Lily. And I don't know if there's any, do we have any other veterans besides those two? Speak up.
Dorothea.
Dorothea. Dorothea, where are you?
Yeah. All right.
I didn't know you were a veteran. Well, happy
All
Veterans
right.
Day to you too. Sorry it's a little late, but you know what? We can recognize our veterans any day, right? Okay.
Right. We
So much.
proud to serve.
All right. All right, Mike, you want to get started?
Yes. And I want to tell everyone good morning and welcome. I want to thank you for joining us in the spirit of perfect harmony. We are the Center for Spiritual Living, West Georgia. We study and practice the philosophy and science of the mind we know as God. And with our spiritual presence and our participation in our service this morning, we create a higher state of consciousness, manifest love, and rise above any negative energy that prevailed this past week. Love is synonymous to God, the most powerful yet most general force in the universe. At this time, Reverend Dr. Sandra Jackson will proceed with our service. She's been keeping us informed throughout the week. Reverend?
Okay. Thank you, Mike. Okay, so before we start today, I want to tell you that today is Diwali. It is a Hindu holiday celebration, and it's a festival of lights. And this is a candle holder that I got when I was in Nepal a number of years ago. We happened to be there when they were having Diwali. We were Nobody told us what was going to happen, and so we all, I guess we took naps or something. Anyway, we were out somewhere, and then we came out. We went into dinner, and when we came out, the whole street was just lit up with lights and candles. And at the doorways, at people's doorways, there were candles all along there, and there were little candle holders like this, if you can see them. And I'm not going to leave this on because I don't want to knock it over. But at any rate, the whole thing is it's about lights, and it's the victory of light over darkness, because the candle is October, right? So it's getting darker. And so it's a victory of light over darkness, good over evil, and guess what? Knowledge over ignorance. So all of that is represented in this little candle. Might want to keep that in mind. It's a great idea. Great way to start the week right now. All right, let us turn within. Let's close our eyes and unite in the consciousness and the realization and the awareness that there is only one life, one presence, one power, one beingness. And it is in this that we all live and move and have our being. It is our very breath, and it is through that breath we know that we are alive in this oneness. And so, as we open our hearts and minds this day to be fully and completely present in this moment, as we release and let go of anything and everything that has penetrated our consciousness up until this moment, we just simply let it go and let it be, and know that all things are working together for our highest, our greatest, and most wonderful good. We come together this morning as a community to celebrate and to be aware that there truly is light over darkness, that there truly is knowledge over ignorance. And we open our hearts and minds this day so that we too may be more knowledgeable, more understanding, more aware, and more fully and completely aligned with the very essence and core of our being, which absolutely gives us light, power, wisdom, creativity, and above all, love, with which we may share with one another. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so this morning our music is done by Cynthia and Connie. So let's welcome them.
There we go. Hi, hi, hi. Good to see everybody this morning. Hi, hi, hi. Connie and I are going to do a song written by one of our favorite positive music singer-songwriters, Jan Garrett. She was in California during a drought, and she dreamed of rain falling, and when she woke up, she wrote the song. And it's about peace, and peace spreading over the land, and that's what we all want to see. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and the green was easy and the rivers ran clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. And the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and the way was easy and the path was clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and the way was easy and the path was clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. And the guardian stars are shining, and the night is bright and clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and the sound was easy and the song was clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and the sound was easy and the song was clear. I dreamed of heaven and the earth sang, and peace spread over the land. And the ancient pain is forgotten, and the Father's debts are clear. Rain. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. Thank you.
Thank you both. Wow. That I just want to go sit somewhere now. That was great. Thank you so much. Yeah, the music is you guys are just awesome this morning. Look at you all decked out and everything. Oh, ready, ready, ready. Okay. Kathy is doing our reading this morning. Thanks a lot, girls.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Today I'm reading two short stories with a similar similar messages. First story. Clifford was leaning against the fence, enjoying a beautiful view from the top of the Grand Canyon, when the wooden posts suddenly ripped from their cement moorings. Seconds later, Clifford was plunging down into the abyss. Halfway to the bottom, his desperate arm waving helped Clifford catch and clutch the branch of the scrubby tree that grew from the Grand Canyon wall. Grasping, gasping, he looked both up and down. No way could he climb that sheer cliff, even if he could swing his body towards the wall. But below yawned the chasm, unbroken any other tree or holding place. To fall would be to die, horribly crushed on the rocks below. No one had seen him fall, and he hung there out of sight, knowing that the wind would scatter his weak voice no matter how loudly he shouted. Desperate Clifford cried out to the heaven, "God, help me." Hearing his own trembling voice, he wailed again, "Please, God, help me." To Clifford's amazement, he heard an immediate answer. "All right," came the voice. The initial warmth Clifford felt turned to chill when grasping his body as the voice continued, "Let go." Looking down, Clifford saw the huge boulder waiting below, and he knew again if he let go, he would surely die. Let go, he thought, but God, you don't understand. He yelled up, "I'm too far up. I'll..." "Let go," the voice repeated. Silence filled the canyon. Then, in a weak, terrified voice, Clifford called out, "Is anyone else up there?" So the second story, not so very many years ago, a man named Patrick wanted to visit the Holy Land. He knew that planes were being hijacked and blown up because of tensions in the region. And being a careful, extremely organized man, he did everything in his power to assure the safety of his journey. But lo and behold, just minutes after takeoff, a bomb exploded under his seat, and Patrick was blown out the side of the plane. As he fell, the panic-stricken Patrick thought back on the choices he made. All his efforts, now apparently so worthless. He had chosen to fly Pan Am rather than TWA. He had decided to change flights in Switzerland rather than the more troubled airports in Germany or in Italy. He had chosen to travel on Saturday rather than midweek. And just a few minutes before the flight took off, he asked the cabin attendant to switch from the aisle seat to the window seat. By this time, Patrick was somewhere around 8,000 feet, and his situation seemed grim indeed. From the depth of his faith, Patrick called out for assistance. "St. Francis," he cried, "help me." Suddenly, amazingly, a hand reached down from the heavens, grabbed Patrick from the scruff of his jacket, and held him there, suspended in midair, thousands of feet above the earth. And then, as he caught his breath, Patrick became aware that there was a voice attached to the hand, and that voice was asking, "Which St. Francis?" Thank
Thanks. Thanks, Kathy.
You're welcome.
All right. So that's just a little levity for this morning, but some truth in both those stories, right? We find ourselves in situations and we don't want to let go, right? Because we are looking forward and what we see is not exactly what we want to see. And because it's not what we want to see, we think that it's not for us. And so this morning, our topic is how engaged is God as us? Okay, how engaged is God as us? So in other words, how are we allowing God to be operative in our life? You know, Patrick was thinking in terms of St. Francis or one of the Francises, and he was depending on something outside of himself, right? And the first man he's looking for something reliable, and that's what we tend to do, right? We want something reliable, but everything is not necessarily reliable. I want to tell you a story. It's about Ezekiel. Do you remember Ezekiel in the Bible? Okay, so do you remember that song? Was Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. The big wheel run by faith and the little wheel run by the grace of God. Remember that song? It was it's an African American it's an African American spiritual from way back in the day, but it is also done as a folk song by Woody Guthrie. Okay. Anyway, there's that goes back to the first verse of Ezekiel, the first chapter of Ezekiel, but it's the second chapter of Ezekiel that I want to talk about today. And in the second chapter, because in the first chapter, it's the vision that Ezekiel has, that God has given to him. And he's a prophet, by the way, in the Old Testament, for those of you who are not Bible literate. And he said and so it says in the Bible, and he said to me, "Son of man," this is Ezekiel talking, "Son of man, stand upon your feet and I will speak to you." Because Ezekiel, he was overtaken by the light and the brightness in this vision. And it says he fell on his face. Well, he probably fell to his knees, but he put his face down on the ground, right? He fell on his face. And so now he is talking, and this is what the God says to him. He said to me, "Son of man, I am sending you to the children of Israel, to a rebellious people who have risen up against me. They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this very day. And they to whom I am sending you are impotent and stubborn children. And you shall say to them, Thus says the Lord of God, the Lord God of hosts. And perhaps they will listen and tremble, for they are a rebellious house, And they shall know that you are a prophet among them. And you, son of man, be not afraid of them, neither be dismayed by their words, for they will deny and denounce you, for you dwell among scorpions, dangerous people. Fear not their words, nor be dismayed at their looks, for they are a rebellious house. God is warning Ezekiel that this is not going to be an easy task. And so he goes on, but you shall speak my words to them, and perhaps they will listen and tremble, for they are a rebellious house. So God keeps saying, these people are rebellious. Maybe they'll listen to you. And if they're rebellious, what? Maybe they won't, okay? But you, son of man, hear what I say of you. And so you need to follow my directions, okay? And be not rebellious like that rebellious house, but open your mouth and eat what I shall give you. So God is sending Ezekiel to the people of Israel who once again have fallen and they have forgotten him, and he's trying to bring them back into the fold. And there's a letting go that has to happen to these people, right? They have to let go and let God. Just like the first guy, he had to let go and trust that God could see something that he could not see. Maybe there's a branch there or a ledge there or something there that he could not see. So anyway, God is sending Ezekiel into the house to help the Israelites. All right, so this is a Bible story. Now we can look at it as just something that happened in the olden days. It's a nice story, just like the story that Kathy just read to us. But what if you are the prophet Ezekiel? And what if the people in your world are the rebellious people of Israel? Think about that for a minute. Think about the people in your life that are difficult to deal with. The ones who are rebellious, the ones who are stubborn. Do you know anybody like that? How about, do you know anybody who is just impotent and difficult to deal with? Maybe you have to turn that on yourself and go like, is that me? No, couldn't possibly be me. I'm Ezekiel. I'm there to save the folks. I'm not there to be. But then God says to Ezekiel, don't you be rebellious, okay? Don't you be rebellious. Do what I'm telling you to do, all right? And don't we get guidance? And something inside us, we get, our intuition says, turn left. And we go like, but I always turn right. But the intuition is saying, turn left. And you go, but you don't understand. I always go this way and I always turn right. And then what are we doing? We are being rebellious and we are being stubborn, right? Okay. And so our intuition is telling us to do one thing. That intuition is coming from that higher sense, that part that knows everything that's out there, that part that knows if you go the way you want to go, you're going to get stuck in traffic. You're going to find yourself blocked. But the intuition is saying, no, go this way. It's a straight way. That's what happens to us all throughout our life. And how many times have we sat back and gone like, dang, I knew I should have done that. I knew I shouldn't have gone there. I knew I should have said something. But our rebelliousness, right? Our impotence and our stubbornness. Why is he calling him son of man? He's calling him son of man because he is a human. And this human being, he is asking to go do something that is in alignment with what? His higher self, his intuition. His vision is his intuition. Think of it that way. Each one of us has it. Why? Because we are all one. I don't have intuition that you don't have. We all have it. The thing is that some of us listen to it more than others. Some of us pay more attention to it. And because we pay more attention to it, our lives just seem to go properly and right. I remember, as I was growing up as a teenager, there were times when I just knew stuff. And people would always want to know, how did I know? And I started questioning myself, well, how do I know? Nobody had told me about intuition at the time. I did not know that there was that within me that could tell me, guide me, and help me throughout my life. I didn't know that. It took years before I learned that. But I remember to this day thinking about times when I was just like, people would say stuff and I would just say, well, that's not true. And they will, well, how do you know it's not true? Well, I was like, I don't know, but I know it's not true. Or something simple like that. But there were always these times with, I just knew stuff. But you know what? The thing is that was the voice of God, the voice of my intuition, my true self speaking to me, and me not understanding. That's the ignorance. Remember Diwali? Wisdom over ignorance, knowledge over ignorance. So I was ignorant as a teenager about this. Now I have the knowledge, I understand it. And so now when the voice of intuition speaks to me, guess what? I listen. Well, most of the time. We all have those lapses, right? That's why the Israelites are the people that Ezekiel's going to, because they are all of us. There are always times in our life when we are stubborn and impotent and we don't want to listen. We want to do it our way because we think, what, my way or the highway, right? So here's the thing, that it doesn't work all the time. We get into less trouble if we just allow ourselves to be aligned with the spirit within and know that that spirit is guiding us and leading us directly, even when we can't see where we are going and where it is leading us. Meister Eckhart said, I don't want to tell you that yet. The Son of Man, God is sending Ezekiel, the Son of Man, the human. He's saying to him, hear what I say to you and be not rebellious like that rebellious house, but open your mouth and eat what I shall give you. Now, in those days when they said, eat what I shall give you, he wasn't talking, because he had given them the scroll, right? And the scroll has the past and the past and the present on it, one side or the other. He doesn't mean open up your mouth and I'm going to feed you the scroll. No, what he's talking about is, he said, he's telling him to study what I am giving you. Study, learn. Don't just go into this thing without the armament of knowing who you are and what you are about. Do you see? We sometimes find ourselves in situations where we don't have the knowledge to deal with it. And so what we have to do is we have to learn first how to deal with that situation, and then we can go in there. Ezekiel says, when I looked, behold, a hand was stretched out to me, and lo, a scroll, a book was in it. And he spread it before me, and it was written, and within and without, and there were written in chants, woes, and lamentations. Lamentations are expressions of grief. So what the scroll is saying is, these people are going to have more trouble ahead. I'm sending you to prepare them so that they will start listening to their intuition. They will start listening to me, paying attention, because there's trouble ahead and I'm trying to help them out. And he's saying, don't you be rebellious like them, because if you're rebellious, then you won't be able to help them, right? So eat the scroll, study the teachings, learn what there is to learn, and then you can go and serve the people. You see, sometimes we have to learn something first. Sometimes we have to learn something. In the science of mind, we're in the process of evolving as a religion and a philosophy, or whatever it is that we're called, a way of life. Because we have been like Meister Eckhart's cows. He says, Some people, I swear, want to love God in the same way that they love a cow. They love it for its milk and the cheese and the profit that they will derive from it. Those who love God for the sake of outward riches or for the sake of inward consolation operate on the same principle. They are not loving God correctly. They are merely loving their advantage. The people of Israel had gotten off base. We are the Israelites. We are the chosen people. We are God's people. And sometimes we get involved with all the things of the world and we come to the science of mind and we learn some things and we learn that we have this power within us. And then we start using it for who? We use it for ourselves, for our own prosperity, for our own health, for our own relationships. And we forget about the rest of the world. We forget that, we're in a community, that there are other people here. Right now, people are trying to decide what to do for Thanksgiving. What are you going to do for Thanksgiving? It's like, are we going to think about ourselves and what I want? I was talking to some people this weekend, they were like, well, I'm really going to miss Thanksgiving because, and then they go on with all the traditions they have for Thanksgiving. Well, we all have traditions of one sort or another for Thanksgiving. But this year, can we do Thanksgiving in the same way? Maybe yes, maybe no. Some of us are going to be able to travel and some of us will not. I know people who travel every year decided this year they're not. Why? Not because of themselves, but because of where they're going and the people they're going to be with. So Meister Eckhart here is saying, that what you are studying and learning is not just for you. And that's what Ezekiel's being told. He's given the scroll, he's given all this knowledge and wisdom. Well, he could keep it for himself, couldn't he? And that would be the rebellious part. You see, that would be the stubborn part. That would be the, I got this knowledge. It's good for me. It'll make my life better. Do you see? And sometimes that's what we do. We learn things and then we keep it to ourselves. I have watched people, it's like, well, I'll give it to you, but I'm gonna charge you for it. How much you gonna pay for it? How much you want for this wisdom I have? Okay. Some wisdom is there for the giving. It's not there for the monetizing. And so we have to keep in mind that we are both Ezekiel and the people of Israel. We are in all parts of this story. And so right now we have, people, I don't know how many times I have heard it this week, every week, for months now. We are living in historic times. Have you heard that? Can you just feel the history happening? My brother had a birthday last Saturday, actually, and it was the day that Joe Biden was elected president. And I said to him, well, this is a historic birthday, and you will remember this birthday forever. And he will, because of what happened on that day. But you know what? We all are living at a time when we'll go like, yeah, I remember where I was that day. I remember when this happened and I was there. Do you know? That's history. And we're all participating in it right now. All summer long, we've had these protests and we've had the virus and we've had the election. And all through it all, we've been told we're divided as people. And so what do you have when you have divisions? You have two sides or more, and they are stubborn. They are dug in. Okay? They are rebellious. They don't want to listen to the other side. They don't want to hear what other people have to say. They just stick with their own people, their own kind, their own, people who agree with them. And they dig in. That's what he's saying to the Israelis. He's saying that here To the Israelites, I should say Israelis, because those, we're not talking about those Israelis here. We're talking about the Israelites in the Bible. And we're talking about how all of us are like that. We are right now in our own history that we're making. We are creating rebellion on one side and rebellion on the other side. We've got stubbornness on one side and stubbornnness on the other side. And we have lamentations, which is grief, on all sides. Stop and think about that. Stop and think about that. And what happens? God sends Ezekiel in to help us. He sends Ezekiel to guide us. He sends Ezekiel in to uplift us. And what is Ezekiel doing? He's reminding you, he's reminding me of who we truly are. We are the people of God. We are the spiritual beings. We are the truth that walks the earth. We have to let go. We have to look up and go like, okay, I'll let go. Instead of, is there anybody else up there? Do you see? Now's the time. What kind of letting go do we have to do? The stubbornness, the rebellion. Okay? We have to let all of that stuff go, and we have to be present in the now moment. We have to be in our truth. We have to study and learn and get knowledge and awareness. We have to open ourselves to the intuitiveness within us, because there is guidance that we, each and every one of us, have access to, and we have to learn how to use it. And once we learn how, we have to practice it. Ernest Holmes said this. He has a book on words that heal today. And he says, we must see all humanity on the pathway of one divine and certain destiny. That we be willing to walk along with others, helping and being helped, loving and being loved, giving and being given to, until finally, through love and compassion for each other, we find that greater love, which is the givingness of life to all who receive it. You and I are Ezekiel's. We are ambassadors into the world. That you are here today for this message, then this is your call. This is your call. And if you're listening later on, this is your call too. We must see all humanity on the pathway of one divine certain destiny, no matter how rebellious. You see, Ezekiel found the rebellious people. He's being told, yes, they are stubborn and rebellious. Yeah, they're going to give you a hard time. Just like people in your world, they're going to give you a hard time. They're not going to agree with you all the time. And you have to learn to what? Use what you know. Use your intuition. Sometimes it's just be quiet. Don't say anything. Leave them alone. Stop criticizing. Let them be. Okay? Care in such a way that you can be compassionate and loving and give life. And what we have to do in that case, we have to do what? We have to let go. Let go. Let go of our own perspectives, ideas, beliefs, so that we can look at others and go like, well, your path isn't mine, but we're all going to the same place. We're all divine beings. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience. We all live in a certain degree of ignorance and a certain degree of understanding, a certain degree of being a cow and wanting it all for myself. And then there's that of us who is willing to give. Ernest Holmes says, we cannot be conscious of God's embrace while refusing it to others. Jesus taught the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man. This fatherhood cannot be realized unless and until it includes the brotherhood. In our stupidity, we like to include the fatherhood for ourselves only. We like to be right among men. And what does that do? It doesn't help anybody. We have to let go of the divisions. We're not divided. That's a manifestation of ignorance. It's not a manifestation of truth. And so we who study and learn and know that we are Ezekiel, we get to do the healing. We get to be the ones who recognize that we are on a pathway, that everybody's path is different and that ours is different from others. So let us think a minute about Thanksgiving. What did you do last year? What will you do next year? What are you going to do this year? You have to think about that, don't you? You have to think about the people who you're going to be around. Because you see, here's the thing. They did a study from Stanford and they found that people go to events without masks, and then they bring the virus back to people who maybe didn't even know that they had gone to the thing. These people get infected, and then they go around somebody because they're not quarantined because they don't know. They go around somebody else, and then they get sick, and then they sicken other people. And it just goes on and on and on like that till we have everybody over the country being sick, all this sickness all around the world. Now, here's the thing. You cannot be afraid of this. Because what does fear do? What you fear comes upon you. So you have to live in faith. Remember the song? Ezekiel saw the wheel and the little one done by faith and the other one by the grace of God. So you walk in faith and the grace of God. If you decide to be with people, then do what is prudent. Do what you know to do. Don't just protect yourself. Be aware that you're protecting others as well. And consider this. Consider that this may be a year of sacrifice. You know, as Americans, we're not asked to sacrifice very much. I remember my mother talking about World War II and all the sacrifices they had to make. They couldn't eat sugar. Can you imagine not having sugar? They didn't have butter all the time. And before that, they had gone through the Depression. Look at all the sacrifices people made. And we are not asked to sacrifice. We just talked about the veterans today. Veterans sacrifice. They sacrifice years of their lives trying to keep the rest of us in a place that we call safe. Okay? So here they're out sacrificing and we're home enjoying ourselves. We are asked this year to sacrifice one day, maybe a weekend, maybe a trip, to keep other people safe. What do you think Ezekiel would do in this situation? Do you think he would be rebellious? Or do you think he would follow his intuition, having experienced the vision that he had experienced? So if you need a vision, go home tonight. Tell God, I need a vision. I need a sign. Tell me what to do. Okay? Reverend Sandra says, I should sacrifice. Do I really need to sacrifice? How much do I need to sacrifice? Is it going to hurt me? Okay. So I want you to know I live alone and I'm having Thanksgiving alone. And I decided that what I was going to do for Thanksgiving, well, first, my biggest problem is what was I going to eat? because I'm the one who cooks the meals, right? I'm the one, people come to my house for Thanksgiving, and I'm the one who makes the turkey and all this stuff, and everybody else brings stuff, okay? And so I can't eat a whole turkey by myself. I don't intend to eat a whole turkey by myself. And I went to Target the other day and they had turkey breast. And I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. I'll just bake this turkey breast. It was $17. I was like, no, I'm not paying $17 for turkey breast. So now I got to think, what am I going to eat? I don't want to go to the fresh market and get cooked turkey. So that's my biggest problem. Okay. Other people don't want to come to my house because they look at me and go like, you're of an age. We don't want to be around you. We don't want to bring you a disease. All right. And so what are we going to do? So I thought, well, I've got to spend my time doing something. So I decided what I was going to do is pull up my ancestry.com and work on my ancestry stuff all day long. I got a lot to catch up on. I have a lot of, in case you don't know, they have little green leaves where they have hints for you, okay, of connections they made for you. I haven't looked at that thing in so long. They have lots of hints, I have no doubt. So, the thing is that I'm not going to have to sacrifice every year. This is just for this year. We're getting a vaccine. So next year, guess what? I can have the family over, but this year I get to sacrifice. And we all have to decide what it is that we want to do and how we're going to handle it. And if you decide to go visit other people, go with God, go with a blessing, and bless everybody and give thanks and be grateful and raise your vibration so that you're not going in a place of fear. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it's your vibration of gratitude and blessing and joy that keeps people safe, with or without a mask. Okay? I'm not saying don't wear a mask. I'm not saying that at all, okay? There are things that we do in the world. Why? Because we live in the world. We get in our car and we drive to the store, or we drive to visit people, or we drive to church, or we drive wherever. Why? Because we have not learned how to teleport. Okay, if we knew how to do that, guess what? We would just stand here and go, I want to be with Sandy right now. So can you move me? No, I'm gonna have to get in my car and spend 50 minutes to get to her. So that's why you wear a mask, okay? But you don't wear it, when you get in your car to go somewhere, do you get in there going like, well, I might have an accident? No, you get in there going like, I'm gonna be at the place that I want to be. What is that? That's bringing your consciousness, your awareness, your vibration to the level of I'm being there safely. And so therefore, when you put on your mask and when you go someplace, you go with an attitude of I'm going because this is how I live in the world. And I'm going from a consciousness of wholeness and health and joy and gratitude that I can go out and live in the world, even with whatever else is going on. Do you follow what I'm saying? Shake your head yes, or do this, whatever, okay? Acknowledge me somehow. Let me know, okay? Because it's all about how you're thinking about it. If you're going on a plane and you're going like, oh my God, is that plane going to crash? I remember years ago, Terry Cole Whitaker, she's a religious science minister from years ago. Some of you may know who she is. She said, I always pray when I get on the plane. And everyone's like, why would you do that? She said, because you never know who's on there with a death wish. Think about that. I have never gotten on a plane since without praying. Like, I mean, some planes don't make it where they're going. Okay. And I'm saying that Because I want you to keep in mind that whatever you do, wherever you go, always go with the highest vibration that you can possibly go with. Go with knowing that only good goes from you and only good comes to you. Why do you think we say that every week? Because we want you to leave here knowing that you want to stay in a high vibration. You want to stay in that vibration that says all things are in divine order and harmony. Everything is in peace, just like the song. Do you see? That's how we get to live. And that's what Ezekiel was trying to teach the people. If you will simply live in the truth of knowing who you are, your life will be so much easier. Follow your intuition, do what you know is true, and then care for others as well. Care for the whole community. We are asked right now to do that because some people are walking around in fear. We don't want to be one of them. And yet at the same time, if you happen to be around one of them, say what you can to be Ezekiel, raise their vibration, help them with that. Okay, help them with that. So what do you say to them when they're fearful? Well, what you fear comes upon you. That's probably too strong. You might ask them, say, well, I understand how fearful, but where is your faith? Mm-hmm. Do you have faith that you can go where you want to go, do what you want to do, and not have a problem? You see? Faith. We do that step by step. Okay? All right. That's our lesson for today. Be Ezekiel this week. Enjoy yourself because Ezekiel had fun with that. Okay? Enjoy yourself. Let go. Let God use your intuition. Close your eyes and join me in knowing that right here, right now, right where you are, God is. And God is open and receptive and loving and waiting on you to turn your attention, your awareness, and allow for it to be expressed in your life with ease, with power, with poise, and with love. Let us know in this very moment that the truth of who we are is spirit, pure, loving spirit. We are God expressing in the world, and we are just on one path. Everybody in this world is on a path, whether they know it or not. We're all destined to eventually know who we are. But we in this moment have the opportunity to know who we are, to know ourselves as divine beings, to know ourselves as spiritual beings having a human experience, to know ourselves as knowing that we have an intuition that will always tell us the truth, that will always guide us in the right and perfect way, that we have the power to listen to that intuition, to be guided by it, and to therefore live a life not in rebellion, but in gratitude and thanksgiving for all the goodness that comes to us as we align with the power and the wisdom and the creativity of love within. So today, as we open our hearts and minds, as we allow ourselves to be this truth of who we are, to live in it, to bathe into it, to be grateful for it, we know that all things are working together for our highest, most wonderful, grateful good. We know that our paths are being made straight, that all decisions are being made right, that our truth is that the truth of who we are is penetrating deeper and deeper and deeper into our levels of consciousness, allowing our lives to be more and more fully complete. And so in deep gratitude and thanksgiving for the knowing that this word is already manifesting in our lives in ways that we have not yet begun to see, I release it now and know that it is done. And so with gratitude and thanksgiving for all that is and all that shall be. I release, I let go, and I know it is done. And so it is. Amen. Okie dokie. Good job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Music, 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 music.
Thank you for that message. That was wonderful. This year has been a doozy. I mean, for me, I guess for the whole world. And this song kind of sets off what I feel. And Cynthia wrote this song.
Yes.
And I hope you enjoy it.
It's a happy song because it's a happy time.
Yes.
It's called I Love My Life. This is the moment I have dreamed of, to stand before you filled with joy. Out of chaos and mystery, we stand here now in our destiny. So many times our hearts were broken. People we love have turned away. But with the power of forgiveness, I face the sweetness of today. I wouldn't change a step I've taken in this life. My broken places are where compassion lies. We've made mistakes along the way. From my heart, joyfully I say, sing it with us now. I love my life. 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 This is a new day we see rising, and it feels different on my face. I embrace the beauty I see there. Creation's love is everywhere. Floodgates of gratitude are open wide. My soul took me on a wild ride. But with each new day I'm finding my happiness needs no reminding. I'm in the right place at the right time. I face the fears that kept me blind. With no certain future, we leave the past behind to embrace our innocence and the freedom we find. And that's why I love my life. 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 You can sing it with us. I love my life. 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 This is the moment we have dreamed of.
Folks, that is a great affirmation. I love my life. Yes. And Marcia, take it away.
Good morning,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Good morning. This is the time when I get to share with everyone how you can support our center. Well, there's three ways that you can give. One way, if you would like to give electronically, you can use the link that I will put in the box because I forgot to do it before I started talking. The link, but it's in your email to go ahead and donate and pay via PayPal. If you feel more comfortable mailing a check, that address is there. It will also be in the chat window in a second. And so you can go ahead and mail the check. And I always like to remember, especially since we're going into this major shopping season, if you are an Amazon shopper, go ahead and connect with our center, and our Smile account link will be in the chat window, and it's also in our newsletters that come out. And once you connect, all you have to do is go to smile.amazon.com, and that's it. Amazon will then take over. They have this charitable program, so whatever amount you decide to spend with Amazon, Amazon will then in turn give a portion of that purchase to our center. And so we are going to go and have our affirmation. I am grateful for the divine givingness circulating abundantly through my life, my community, and my world.
Okay. Thank you, Marcia. Announcements. Guess what month it is next month? December. Guess what? Last month of the year and Christmas. And so Cynthia is going to tell you about our program on December, or what we're going to do on December 20th.
Oh. Hey, so we want to have a Christmas celebration this year that is very inclusive. We'd like any of you who have a gift to bring to this Christmas celebration to feel free to do so. It's going to be very informal. If I know some of you are good speakers, if you'd like to read something, that would be great. If you, Marcia is going to sing a song for us. I heard a rumor that some people play instruments, so if you have you want to play a little solo on your flute, for example, that would be good, or anything like that. If you would contact me or contact Reverend Sandra and let us know how you would like to give to our Christmas program. And it will be December 20th, so be sure and be here.
Thank you. And I heard somebody does spoken word, so that works too. Okay. All right. So I don't know if you've been paying attention, but we have a newsletter that comes out at least once a week on Friday or Saturday. And if you haven't looked at it, you might want to take a look at it, because there are some offers there for the Science of Mind magazine. If you are a subscriber, or if you're not a subscriber, they're running a special on the digital, getting it digitally. So you might want to take a look at that and see if it's something that will fit your needs. Also, Marcia, I'm going to ask you to do this for next week. We're going to be putting up a form so that you can order the journals, and we'll put it in the newsletter so you can do that. So that you can start ordering the journals, because we order. I think we'll probably give you to the end of November, because we want to order them in bulk, not one at a time. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have for announcements today?
Reverend Sandra, what is the cost of the journal so people can be ready?
I think they're $14.95. Last year we sold them for $15 and pocketed the nickel. It was just easier that way. Okay, than finding $14.95 and having to find a bunch of stuff, and people didn't seem to mind paying an extra nickel to the church. Okay. All right, so
An announcement, Reverend Sandra.
yes, go ahead, Lily.
Yes, I just wanted to invite anyone who wants or desires to join our loving community. I'm going to put my email and my phone number in the chat, and you can either email me or call me, and I can start the membership application process with you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lily. Thanks for that reminder. Yes. All right, we're going to try and make it easier for people to join the church. We thought that would be something cute to do. Okay, thanks, Lily. All right, and also, if something has happened that I find out about you during the week, you know, it could wind up in the newsletter, like Lily's granddaughter's name and Zizi's granddaughters. They did something special along with Dorothea, but you have to read it to find out what it is. Okay, there's the newsletter. Thanks, Marcia. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's see. We have a video. And oh, by the way, with this video, I want to introduce it. You know how you know, I find these videos on YouTube, right? And you know how people make comments? Well, one of the people who made a comment was a young man who, after he was on drugs, he wanted to get off drugs. And he said he didn't know what to do. And he had the money to go buy some new drugs. And he just said, Lord, I don't want to do this. You know, give me a sign, you know, how we get signs. And so he went home and he put a song, he turned on the radio, and this song came on the radio. And after he listened to this song, he said he never did drugs again. Okay, so, Marsha.
By two, well, not Californians. Billy Steinberg, who's from California. Tom Kelly and I wrote this. Well, they wrote it, and we all wrote it. I was a little embarrassed about this song for a long time because it sounded a bit like I don't know, like a ruthless attempt to get on the radio, but it did. So, fuck it, it worked. Come on and come to me now. Don't
He took that to mean that God was standing by him. And I want you to know that your intuition is standing by you, and the intuition is the voice of God in you, through you, and as you. So be blessed this week and enjoy. Marsha, our closing affirmation. Thank you all for being here today. Have a blessed week. We go forth today knowing that we are God's blessing in the world. Only good goes from us and only good comes to us. And so it is. And if you would like to have fellowship today and hang around for a few minutes, stay on the line. Okay? For the rest of you, have a great week.